vehicle. Luckily, it's a big vehicle, and I had airbags. All the airbags went off, which probably saved me.
Yeah.
Because I got hit. Like, I remember the last hit I took thinking, okay, I'm still here, but if I get hit again, I don't think it's going to, and that split second, the things that go through your head.
Wow. Yeah.
And I probably would have rolled it or something if I hadn't hit the wall.
We are live, so if you happen to be watching our live program, or if you're coming back and you're watching Stormfront Freaks Raw, which is just the recording here of the program, welcome. Good having you here. We got Jeff Berardelli with us tonight.
Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
And so
hey, guys.
we're going to be starting here shortly. But again, thanks for watching, tuning in. And just so you know, too, MJ is not with us tonight, so I'm going to be trying to monitor the chat room on YouTube. So if you do happen to have any questions, whether it's for Jeff or anybody else, feel free to put those in. I'll try and get to those and see those as well.
Be patient.
Doing a little double duty tonight. So I'm having 2 drinks for that reason.
Ooh, Kahlua.
Oh, that looks good, actually.
I'm having a little White Russian, and it is kind of little, which is kind of sad. That's why I drink 2 and call me in the morning. So, all right. So my understanding was Brady was going to be with us tonight.
Where's Brady?
32,000 feet.
Yeah.
Again?
Well, I don't know. He said he didn't have to travel anymore. So that was my understanding, but we could be wrong. So, Jeff, just to quick introduce you. So Mark Massaro, we call him Maz because we usually have 2 Marks on the show. Tonight we don't, but if we just said Mark, people would be freaked out and not know who we're talking about.
And with 2 of them, it's Mark.
Yeah. So we call him Maz. So he is our former TV meteorologist, most of his time in the Cincinnati area.
Okay.
And then Dina, who's fresh from her accident yesterday.
Dina, I'm so sorry. I was listening to your story, and boy, that sounds tough.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, by the way.
Nice to meet you. It's a crazy way to meet you, but
yeah, seriously.
I'm gonna do this. I'll share my screen.
Is it pronounced Berardelli, like Giardelli?
Yeah, but only sweeter.
You've heard this before. Okay.
I've been there before.
All right, so Jeff, here was Dina's car.
Wow.
So it's amazing that
you have to be kidding me.
It's amazing that she was with us. This evening.
And look at her; she's such a trooper. She's back. She's back at work. Literally the next day.
Well, I'm not working because I can't drive.
Yeah.
But I could sit here and talk. I can't drive with this because it's my right hand.
Oh.
I can't grip anything, and they're worried. They don't want me to. The brakes were clean. If they were displaced at all, they'd have to do surgery and put pins in there. So I have to be careful with that. Luckily it was a clean brake.
Wow, it's amazing you survived that. I
know.
It's such a crazy car wreck.
Yeah.
Are you on meds? Meds just in case. Do we need a disclaimer?
Yeah. So if I start slobbering or something, just
How will we know the difference?
I don't know.
That's true.
You don't know the difference between that or when I'm drinking too much.
All right, let's go through our punch list quick. Tap Maz, tap your mic. Good. Dina. Good. All right, everybody's got their mic. Good. Don't forget, mute your phones. I heard, Jeff, you're good. I don't know what else you would be. I suppose, you could be on your laptop mic too, but no, you sound good. Mute your phones if you haven't done so already. And Jeff, as a FYI, if you need to mute yourself for any reason or cough or dog starts barking in the background, up at the very top, if you move your mouse, a little screen will pop up and there's a microphone mute button.
I see it. Okay.
And there's also a camera mute button if, you decide you need to get naked or something. And you see that.
That's good to know.
Warn us. Warn us, though.
Keep your mic close. You guys are good on your mics. Don't bump your table. Dina, do you use an arm?
Yeah.
Microphone arm, you do. Okay. Maz, are you using one or okay, cool. So that's good. You guys don't have to worry about that. Dina, can you adjust your camera a little bit so your head's a little bit closer to the top of the screen? That's fine.
Better?
Yep. Okay. Just so that's good. And if you do get knocked off, Jeff, the link you have, just reconnect if for any reason something happens.
All right,
there.
good.
So
all right.
we're going to go through. I'll do a quick introduction. We'll do the what are you drinking for our team? And then Dina, I'm going to turn over to you. Okay, so you've got Jeff's introduction and first question. And we'll go through some questions, and then I'm going to do something a little different tonight, guys. I'm going to take a break look who the frick is here.
Made it.
Whoa. Did you parachute in?
Wow.
Oh, I did not. I did not parachute in. I'm
Good
here.
job, Brady.
Well,
Brady's
maybe.
here.
I'd love
903.
to parachute in.
All right, we're gonna get going. We gotta get going, Brady. We're not waiting for you, brother. We've been waiting for weeks for you, and we're done. So I'm gonna take a break in the middle of the interview. I'm gonna just take a break. Say, hey, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back, and then we'll actually just come right back, literally. But I'm gonna do a little break in the interview section a little bit, and then we'll come back, still have questions, and do the lightning round, and then we'll take the second break at that point. So I'm kind of moving the breaks up just a little bit. Make sense?
Yeah, you just tell us when.
All right. And yeah.
Just
All
tell
right.
me when to stop talking.
Stop talking. Oh no, did I just say that?
Wow.
Okay, let's do this. Everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull up my sound effects here. All right, we're good. So I'll count myself in. In 3, 2. All right, hey, welcome to the most entertaining weather podcast on your listening and viewing device. This is the Stormfront Freaks podcast. As always, if you are a first-time listener, hey, thanks for stopping by. Be sure to go to stormfrontfreaks.com and access our library of previous shows. We've got other famous guests from the weather industry like Mark Sudduth, Ginger Z as well. But tonight, this is episode 64. And I'll tell you what, who knows what we're going to be chatting about, but we could be chatting about storm chase streams, hurricanes, climate change. But we've got former TV meteorologist, ZoomRadar creator, and climate contributor Jeff Berardelli is with us tonight. I don't know what else we're going to add to
Wow,
his,
listen to that round of applause. It almost sounds real.
It is.
Jeff,
We've got our studio audience as always. And I'll tell you what, Jeff is going to be playing our lightning round game show. And we also brought back our Weather Trollbot 5000 to the show tonight as well. So we're looking forward to having her back. But before we that's about right. But before we get to all that, it is happy hour when we record. And one of the best ways to introduce our co-host to you is to find out what they're drinking at the bar. So we invite you to drink with us. But Brady, welcome back.
What's up, guys?
What are you drinking tonight?
You know what? I just found out that I've got a little bit of a high blood pressure, so I'm drinking water. I'm drinking water because I'm gonna go on a diet, and you know what? Get that BP down. You know.
That bourbon was good for that.
You know it is. Red meat's fantastic.
Yeah, just some
all right. Well, very good. All right. Hey, Maz, I'm jumping to you. What are you drinking?
All right. Sir? I got Stella.
You got Stella.
There you
go. That's a good one.
Belgian is good.
Are you just like nippling that 6-pack you've had for the last month and a half, or
no? I remember
getting it.
I was Tecate last week.
Tecate.
That's true.
Like karate.
That's right.
and then we got Dina's here tonight, and Dina, I'm not going to ask you what you're drinking. Instead, I'm going to ask you what you're taking, because you're coming out of a car accident yesterday, and I'm for our viewers, I'm actually going to share a little picture of what her vehicle looked like, so you guys can all see that. Whoa, that's not working.
It's coming.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, it was scary. Like I didn't see it till today. I didn't.
And
see
you
it
saw,
at the
so you
time.
just got these views today. Okay.
Yeah,
so
we went to get stuff out of the car.
So here's a picture of Dina's, and this was a Ford
Explorer.
So this
was.
I think Maz thought it looked like a Mazda, but here's your Ford Explorer.
No, it's a big vehicle.
Yeah,
but it didn't crack the engine. You could see the timing belt and.
So what? So what are you taking tonight?
Lots of painkillers and a lot of anti-inflammatories.
Wow.
Perfect.
So I'm not mixing. I'm just,
This really could be an interesting show tonight. And to kick it off, I'm going to have you, who better than introduce our guest, Dina, than you. Go ahead and give him a good introduction.
All right. Tonight we welcome Jeff Berardelli. He is a climate change and extreme weather contributor to CBSN New York, where he is also studying for his master's degree at Columbia University. Former lead meteorologist at CBS 12 in West Palm Beach, Jeff is also the creator of ZoomRadar, a storm chaser map and weather radar for websites including stormfrontfreaks.com. So, Jeff, I mean, what gave you the idea for ZoomRadar? Can you explain to our listeners what that is?
Well, yeah, ZoomRadar has been around a long time now. It started back in like 2007. Basically, it was before there was any interactive radars. So before you had your phone, you can zoom into the map. I was working at WFOR, which is a CBS station in Miami, and I said to my news director, in our weather center, I'm able to zoom in and show where the rain is, because in Florida, it rains on one side of the street, but it doesn't rain on the other side of the street. I said, we really need to get zoomable Doppler radar on our website. So I said I was going to go try to find it for her, but then I made a promise. I said, if I can't find it, I will figure out a way to make it. And well, that led down a road of investing tens of thousands of dollars and hiring developers all over the world to build this technology. So we were the first interactive radar on the internet about 12 years ago or 11 years ago or something like that. And we still operate, we still have certain businesses, TV station websites, radio station websites that use us. And we also have partnered with Severe Studios and Severe Streaming. So we have, dozens of storm chasers on our map, and we do live streaming. And so it's really become, it's really kind of snowballed, if you will, no weather pun intended, from the beginning. And it's still there. So ZoomRadar.com if you want to check it out.
It really is cool.
Yeah,
And-
what was the idea behind the storm chasing?
It's such a long story, but do you guys remember a guy named Andy Gabrielson? He was a famous storm chaser in the Plain States, and he passed away, unfortunately, on the way back from a chase. But he found ZoomRadar, he loved it, and he introduced me and Corey Hartman. And Corey Hartman and I established kind of an informal partnership about probably 8-9 years ago. And that led to us kind of merging to some degree. We're not the same company, but we share the streaming platform, which is Severe Streaming. So we both own that. We co-own that. It kind of led to me being in not only the interactive radar business, but also the Severe Streaming business, which was, I don't have a background in technology at all. But then all of a sudden I found myself immersed in technology. So that's how it happened.
Is there a limit to how many streams you get? Because when you look at the map, like during storms, you're like, there's a lot of people out there.
Well, so luckily, there's technology to help with. I mean, it was difficult years ago. It's become a little easier because there's something called peer-to-peer streaming, which kind of helps buffer the streams, if you will. And there's some technology advantages nowadays that make it a little bit easier. It's tough. I mean, look, it's not easy on our servers when there were 20, 30, 40. At one point, we had 40 something on one day in 1 hour when the tornadoes were really going in Kansas 2 years ago. I don't know if you remember that day. We had probably 40 something or 50 chasers live at one moment, and probably 15,000, 20,000 people watching at one moment. And
wow.
I mean, you could smell the smoke coming off of our server. Yeah.
Now, Jeff, have you ever been a dot on that map? Have you ever I'm going to stream on my own service?
Nope, I don't.
Oh,
no, I don't do that. No. Corey Hartman is the representative from our companies who does that, and we have tons of great chasers across the country. It really is a lot of fun, and they do some great work warning the public, letting them know long before a tornado gets to their town that it's on the way. So you have to applaud those storm chasers who literally put their life on the line for science.
So when you zoom, are we talking you can zoom in and see the brand of cigarette the Russian soldier is smoking, or what are we talking?
Well, you mean in terms of ZoomRadar? No, you just, it's an interactive map. It allows you to zoom down to about, it's basically street level zooming. Look, it's something that I started years ago. I never meant for it to be a business. I just thought it was a great idea, and I just wanted to create a technology where everyone can zoom in. Now, of course, today it seems like, of course, everyone zooms in on the radar. But 12 years ago, it wasn't technically possible until my developers literally spent a year or two just kind of trying different technologies. It was based on Flash, when we first started, because there was no other way to really do it. So it seems like old technology today to some degree, but it wasn't old technology 11, 12 years ago when we created it. It was not easy. It was painstaking. It was very hard.
Who's your main clientele for that, and whatever other ZoomRadar products you've got?
Yeah, so I mean, there's no main clientele. I mean, you have it on your website, right? I mean, but Gatehouse Newspapers uses us. iHeart Radio, some of those radio stations have us. We're on various TV stations like KARK, KARK, in Arkansas has us. We have we have a couple of TV stations up and down the Plain States. I find that most of the TV stations that really use the ZoomRadar technology are ones that are interested in storm chasing. That's the main. We have a bunch of TV stations in Missouri, so places that you would expect that they would use our technology, use it.
Are they able to use those streams on their live coverage, or what's the agreement there?
They can use it on the web, but not on television, because severe streaming, the live part actually has at least, while it's live, it's exclusive to the Weather Channel. Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
They own everything now, don't they?
So you are you are a former meteorologist, TV down in Florida, correct?
Yeah.
So
and I'm still a TV meteorologist. Yeah. I just don't. It's just not my full-time job anymore.
Yeah, but you're ruining my segue here.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Which is to talk a little bit about recent events. Now we typically don't cover a whole lot of recent weather events, which kind of makes our shows typically a little more timeless that way. But it's hard to avoid the fact of Michael, Hurricane Michael coming through and hitting the panhandle of Florida. Now, you weren't obviously up in that area, but certainly being from Florida, my first question is really what's your takeaway from what happened in Michael and all of that first?
Well, I was actually on the air during it, working for CBS News in New York here. And I will just tell you what I told people before the storm hit, because it's hard to rise above the noise in media. I mean, everything's the next big, second coming, if you will, in the media. So you really need to kind of to give people an idea of what they're about to experience. And I just said point blank, you have never experienced a storm like this in your life. Because the only chance that they've experienced a storm like that is if they were alive during Camille, or if they were alive during Hurricane Andrew, basically. Because other than that, this was basically the most potent windstorm, not necessarily storm surge, because obviously Katrina had more storm surge, but this was up there. And I just wanted people to know that, this was going to be like nothing they ever experienced before. So what did I think of it? Well, look, to have a hurricane of that magnitude this late in the season does kind of raise eyebrows. You heard some people from the National Hurricane Center saying, just how much of this is climate change and just how much of it is natural. And, there's truth to both of those things. I mean, obviously, the Gulf was still warm. It moved right over the loop current. So in that way, it was likely to be destined to be a strong storm no matter what time of year it was, as long as there wasn't strong wind shear, and there was not. But at the same standpoint, why were water temperatures 4 or 5 degrees above normal in the very northern part of the Gulf of Mexico? How much of that was due to a warmer climate? I mean, we know the Atlantic water temperatures in the tropics have warmed about 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit, in about the past 40 years or so. So we know, at least in the background, there's generally speaking, there's just warmer water sitting around. So likely, it was natural, and then there was a dose of climate change on top of it. And just what was that dose that would allow a category 4, almost category 5 hurricane to hit the panhandle of Florida this late in the season? There's something unnatural going on here, and we're just trying to figure out what's natural and what's not natural right now.
Yeah. Good segue to climatology, by the way.
Yeah, that is a good segue. And I'm always curious too, how long, what's the usual lead time for any papers to come out, or what's kind of the industry standard for an event to be linked to climate change?
So that's a great question. We do these attribution studies, and I say we now because probably I should say that, and I don't know if I'm ruining anybody's segue here, but the reason why, and you tell me if I am, I moved to New York. I left my full-time job to go back and get my degree in climate change, and it's not really a science degree in climate change. It's actually a sociology degree in climate change. Why do certain people believe climate change is real? Why do certain people not? What's the psychological and sociology components to it? How do you communicate climate change? Because it's such a,
I want to read this when you're done.
Yeah.
Just to tell you.
Climate change is such a huge thing because it affects so many things, not just a weather impact, right? It's sea level rise, it's infrastructure, it's national security, it's energy, it's sustainable energy, and the future energy. There's so much to it. So I may have gone off course a little bit. I just wanted to let everyone know what I'm doing and why I'm in New York right now. I just basically, I knew that I needed to make a huge sacrifice in my life by literally leaving my job and going to get a degree and spending tons of money. I didn't have to go and get the degree, but if I want people to know that I'm walking the walk, rather than just asking people to believe in climate change and make changes in their life. I'm not asking it for any of that, but I'm doing it because I think it's important if you're going to talk about this stuff that you do that. So what was the original question? Because I
think we all forget. I don't know.
Oh no, it was just kind of what's the usual time it takes for like a paper or whatever to come out and prove that an event's been linked to climate change.
Well, so there's this thing called the worldwide attribution, which I'm sure I hope that they're working on this right now. I'm going to actually go into Climate Central in Princeton, New Jersey tomorrow. I'm going to ask them that question. I don't know the answer, but it could be a couple of weeks before we get kind of what we call rapid attribution study, but more likely it's going to be winter before we get those really big, hefty study. So we'll have it hopefully an idea by then. But just to give you an idea of Harvey, most of the really good climate scientists ascribe at least a percentage of the rainfall to the fact that it slowed down and the fact that now the atmosphere is warmer, so it can hold a certain percentage greater amount of rainfall. And Kevin Tremberth from NCAR says it's probably somewhere between 15 and 20% of the rain that fell in Harvey is due to climate change. It's hard to kind of find that in the noise, but
how do you how do you sparse that differently? That's tough.
How long do you have? Because it's beyond my pay grade. These are some really intelligent mathematicians and physical scientists, and it's hard, but they've figured out ways. I mean, they've been studying this for 20, 30 years now, and they're figuring out ways to kind of basically what they do is a lot of them. What they'll do is they'll take a computer model for Michael, for instance. What they may do is they may say, okay, let's mimic the environment that caused Michael. Let's have two different presentations of water temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico. Let's not change the wind shear in the atmosphere because there was no wind shear on top of Michael when it hit. And this would be a simplified study, but let's raise the water temperatures. Let's keep the water temperatures where they were during Michael, which was, in the very northern Gulf, it was around 85, and south of that, near the loop current, is 82-ish. And let's at the same time subtract the climate change signal from that. So let's assume that water temperatures are 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit less, and let's then run those computer models and see what it simulates for Michael with today's current atmosphere and today's current Gulf of Mexico, and then what it looks like when there's no climate change in there. Basically two different climate change. Two different simulations. They'll run a lot more than that. I'm just really trying to simplify it. That's kind of how it's done. Did that make sense?
Yeah, because when you said that about the temperatures, because we were talking about that on the Weather Channel, like the weather.com, I looked at the water temperatures, you were in like the lower 80s. Then as you got toward the coast, you were upper 80s.
Right.
So what if and when it was down farther south, it was, say it was a Cat 2 or Cat 3, would it have stayed that way if it had the same water temperature?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a great question. It's a great question. You have to imagine that at least some of that warmer water fed into it getting to Cat 4, almost Cat 5 status. But the question is, how much of that is due to climate change? Mike Clay is a meteorologist at Bay News 9. He's a mentor of mine. I worked with him 20 years ago when I was in Tampa. He contends, and he's right. There was a big ridge of high pressure across the southeast that was there for a long time.
And the warmest October's on record, right?
Yeah, it just warmed up stuff, but then I go back to the question of, we seem to be seeing these bigger highs that are stuck. They're more persistent. climate change. Computer models think that we're going to see a slowing down of the overall flow because of climate change. It's a long story. I don't want to get into it unless you guys are really interested in it. And there might be more blocking because of climate change. So how much of that high is due to that slower flow? And so, it gets really difficult. And that's why you need these really brainiac, climate scientists to kind of look at it in hindsight and get an idea of how much of it's due to climate change.
I wonder if Dr. Hobgood, because he's a hurricane numerical modeler, he might even have a little insight on that too.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with him at all?
I'm not familiar with him personally, but I know that there will be plenty of climate scientists that are wanting to figure out how much of a connection there is to anthropogenic climate change.
Cool. Well, hey, everybody, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a short break. Go ahead and refill your drink, and we'll be right back with Jeff. Okay. So we'll just jump right back in. Quick question, Brady, do you have your mic?
Yeah, I've got it on.
Okay, tap it. Okay, good. Did you have to switch it?
It might have come unplugged for a quick second.
Because at first it sounded like you were using your laptop.
Okay.
All right, so we'll come back. We'll kind of keep going with Jeff, and then we'll go into the lightning round. I will quick say this, and Brady, be careful. Are you using your arm?
Yeah, I've got my arm, but it's just far away, and I've got a table pretty close that it's on.
Is it broken?
I bumped the table that one time, and I just bumped it again.
Yeah, because when you bump it, if a lot of times if you have your arm and you're bumping stuff, it doesn't pick it up as much. That's why I thought maybe you weren't using it.
I bumped it pretty violently the first time.
Okay. So try to avoid that if you
I
could.
will. I just get animated,
And then just to let my co-freaks know, our lightning round is going to be a version of Hollywood Squares, where I'm going to give you a question, and then you have to give an answer, and then Jeff is going to agree or disagree with your answer. So you could lead them astray if you want, or you could speak the truth. But
all right.
I'll just give you a
Naz
heads
really
up on
likes
that
to tell the
already.
truth here, Jeff. Just an FYI, he's definitely not going to lead you astray.
And then after the lightning round, we'll take another break. So you guys ready to come back?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep going on this discussion. All right, in 3, 2. Whoops, that's the wrong sound effect. All right, here we go. 3, 2. All right, so hey, we're back here with Jeff Berardelli, and I'll tell you what, Jeff. I'll be honest with you. I made a funny comment at the end of last episode when we always introduce who our next guest is going to be, and I said, we've gone 63 episodes being able to avoid the topic of climate change.
That's why you're still alive.
Could be. This is it. This is our swan song show right now. But we talked a little bit yesterday about the fact that for whatever reason, climate change has become extremely political. It's like weather politics.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you personally, I hate getting into political discussions. It's nothing but just nitpicking.
Ugliness.
Yep, everybody hates everybody, and so I avoid it. And in all honesty, I have avoided climate change, and partly because for the most part, I don't think it's overly sexy and it's very sciencey, and that's just kind of another reason why we haven't dug into it on this show. But I'm going to ask you this question because you were talking a little bit about Hurricane Michael, and that was a little bit of your segue into discussing climate a little bit. I'm going to pick the other side and say this, and say just recently I've seen comments about lows, like record lows in the Midwest and in the plains where they're reaching record lows for this time of year, right?
Yeah, it's true.
And that, of course, is what people go, well, wait a minute, how is there global warming if we're having record lows?
You get one blizzard and
what's with that? And of course, the comeback is always, well, but you're talking about a specific event, and that's that you can't look at that specific event and then make a global decision on that. Right. Well, I'm going to come back and say, well, okay, so why is it that during big storms like, for example, Hurricane Michael, why does that seem to be a point to where a lot of the people that are pro global warming and climate change jump on that bandwagon and say, see this, and you just said it yourself, right? Oh, this is weird. This is an anomaly. This is different. Wait a minute here. What, we can't kind of pick and choose what we're going to use for our soapbox, can we?
Listen, it's a great point you make, and that's why I was very careful to say we just don't know. How much of that, if any of that, was due to climate change. We think probably some of it, but no, you bring up a good point. I mean, that's why I think it's so important that climate scientists focus on what is essentially the larger scale in terms of, and also the longer scale, right? It's not these 1 day or 1 week events that really prove or disprove climate change. It's more what's happening over the longer term and the averages. So, in answer to your question, yes, we're still going to see cold snaps. We're still going to have record lows, and I haven't checked the latest stats for this year, but generally speaking, over the past few years, record highs have been outnumbering record lows by 2 to 1, and I believe it's much higher than that, or at least it was much higher than that just about a month ago. I don't know where it is today. Obviously, it's a little bit lower than that, but when you average it over the year, it's something like 2 point something to 1. So for every 2 point something record highs, you have 1 record low. But you're right. I mean, look, you can't say, hey, look at Hurricane Michael, it's climate change, and then ignore the fact that you might be seeing record low temperatures and a cold snap that lasts a week or so in the Ohio Valley. So there's some of that. But I would also play devil's advocate and say, look, what's happening in the Arctic is really strange, and if you look at the pattern over the next week and a half, 2 weeks in the Arctic, you'll see that there's just nothing but unbelievably warm air up there, and it's displacing all the cold air south. So there is a connection between this rapid warming of the Arctic, which, by the way, is happening at 2 to 3 times the rest of the globe, and that warming in the Arctic displacing cold air and pushing it south into the United States. We saw it last year during the winter. And, of course, people get upset about stuff like that because, they say, oh, you attribute everything to climate change. Well, I can tell you this one thing. One thing that I look for, and I look for it all the time, is what's happening in the Arctic, because the Arctic, to a large degree, dictates what's happening around the rest of the globe. That and the equator, because there's lots of heat being released at the equator, El Nino and La Nina, which I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that's related to climate change. But obviously, the heat release from the tropics is a big driver of climate around the world, and so is what's happening in the Arctic. The Arctic was extraordinarily warm last winter, and it caused all kinds of weird things, especially all that cold air got stuck in the eastern half of the United States. And now we're seeing this really warm Arctic right now, probably due to the fact that sea ice has been at near record low levels, again, coming out of the summertime. And if you don't have the sea ice, you can't really build the cold air as much in the Arctic, and strange things happen.
It's amazing when you look at ice cover maps, and if you've ever, I'm sure you have, but when you loop them, that to me is the biggest indicator of global climate change. If an area of the world that's normally always cold, and you see the loop and less ice and less ice and less ice and less ice.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. I was going to switch topics a little bit. So
I just want to say, though, I think what's important, though, is this. There's no doubt in climate scientists' minds, at least, that climate change is happening, that it's caused by man. People always say, well, how is it possible that man could affect the weather? It's such a big thing. I'll take you back to the Dust Bowl. Land use issues created a big problem in the Plain States, and it was a man-made disaster. That wasn't a global disaster, but it was a disaster for that area. So, we are having an impact. But I will say this: there are a lot of people who get very upset when we mention climate change, mostly because they're afraid that the government would tax them more, or that it would cause them to have to change habits in their life that they don't want to change, or whatever it is. I will tell you personally, I'm not asking you to do anything, and I don't necessarily think we need to force people to do anything. This is just something that if you feel strongly about it and you want to voluntarily be a part of the solution to climate change, I'd say I'm all for it. I've done it, but I enjoy doing it. But a lot of people will come back and say, well, but China is huge and India is huge, and anything that we do can't really help. Well, the bottom line is that it's really going to take an international effort to help with this. And and it's basically it's going to be an all hands on deck situation, but it doesn't mean there's not opportunity in it. I really think that there's lots of opportunity for our economy to flourish in a changed climate, and sustainability is a huge part of that. There's so many jobs being created all across the nation, especially in the middle of the country with wind and solar. So there's opportunity here. It could actually turn out to be a positive if we just start moving forward, rather than get kind of caught in the past, which is, So anyway,
Jeff, what I want to know, what's the argument? Because truthfully, scientifically, I don't think you can get around the fact that we're having global warming.
Right.
Maybe the question might be, or the argument might be a little bit as to whether it's man-made or it's just natural.
Some of that.
What I want to know, what is the argument on the other side that's fighting the science that says, hey, the things are warming up, and as Dina talked about, the ice caps are moving in, and
glaciers are disappearing.
What's the fight? Yeah, what is the argument on the other side?
Well, I mean, the main thing, honestly, at least politically speaking, is there's a ton of money being funneled in by the fossil fuel industry, because they right now they run the world, and they don't want to see changes in their business where they have to start. Part of their market is fractured, right? And other people are starting to get in on the energy game. They don't want to see that. So there's a lot of money funding, politicians on both the left and the right, that are kind of holding up progress. That's, I would say, the biggest problem. And there are a lot of people out there who feel like climate change is going to cause, government to get larger and taxes to get higher. And I know that that's not where I'm coming from. I don't want my taxes going up. I don't want the government to be larger, but there's a big pushback. It's not necessarily that deep down inside they don't believe in climate change. It's that they really are afraid of what it means, of what kind of changes might be required.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, Jeff, and I would agree. I think on both sides, it is a very poor communication, and that is really the cause of the problem, because you have this issue that's politicized. And now people associate climate change with left and climate deniers with right. And what?
Wow. Looks like somebody got him.
Right.
His cat.
It's all.
Still alive?
Yeah, there he is.
No.
Is that a missile that hit his apartment? What was that?
I was going to tell everyone, watch your back, because one went down. How many?
Yeah.
The government did it. The government shut him down.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, just be honest. I'd say a couple of years ago when I was in college, I was what they would call, quote unquote, a climate denier. Now, I definitely believe it's happening, but I get super frustrated by people that come out and before an event is even happening, they're posting pictures on Twitter saying, oh my God, this storm's going to be awful because of climate change. And here's why. And I'm like, guys, that causes so much more damage, because then people on the right are like, you know what, see these people just pick these certain events, and it's brutal, because it's going to cause us to get gridlocked like we are, and nothing's going to happen. And that's really, in my opinion, the problem.
It's a good point. And I was at a talk a couple nights ago where at the very end of it, I kind of raised my hand and I said, if people on the left, are going to require everybody else to fall in line and admit climate change is real and it's caused by human beings, the two sides are not going to get anywhere on making progress on this. But what we can agree on, and I will tell you, it's about 80% of residents of the United States want sustainable energy. They're willing to actually, believe it or not, as crazy as it sounds, they're willing to let government help fund research into sustainable energy. And the numbers are literally in the high 70s to near 80%, which means that if you don't focus on the problem, but you focus on the solutions, and you say, you know what, you can believe what you want, I'll believe what I want, let's just work on this together and figure out ways where we can meet in the middle. That's the answer to this. People have to get past their egos and say, you know what, it's okay that you don't believe. You know what, we don't all have to agree, but we all want this. We want happiness. We want health for our family, for our future. So since we all agree on that, let's just work on solutions.
Exactly.
All right. So one other question here for you, Jeff. We talked a little bit about how recently there have been studies coming out to show the shift of increase in tornadoes here in the United States. So
Yeah.
it has shifted from the plains
This is interesting.
and now is getting further into the Midwest,
Yeah.
Southeast,
Like
which I
Dixie
think we've
Alley?
kind of known a little bit about
Dixie
that.
Alley.
But
Yeah.
Bring them to Ohio.
yeah, I mean that the whole it shift. Now that's the increase in tornadoes. That doesn't necessarily mean there's more tornadoes in, say, Indiana than there is in Oklahoma or Kansas, but there's more
Exactly.
increase in those states, and there's actually been a decrease in the plain states. But
Yes.
just quick question: what I guess what are your thoughts on that? And is your answer going to be it's climate change, or what are your thoughts?
Well, I will tell you that this study was done by Harold Brooks, being one of the and also Dr. Victor, and I don't remember Ganesi, or I know I'm getting his name wrong, but everyone knows Howard Brooks, obviously. If you read the paper, they say we're not sure if this is anthropogenic climate change or not. But I spoke on the phone with him today. We spent a half hour talking, and he says it fits all the signals and signs of climate change. I do not think this is natural variability. I don't see any signs that it is. It's a really simple thing, though. Climate change it seems to be making the deep Southwest, the desert Southwest, drier. One very clear signal we get from our climate models is that the Southwest and the Western states are likely to get much drier in the future. And that dry air doesn't stay there. It moves east. And so the 100th meridian, or the 100th longitudinal line, has moved east about 140 miles, believe it or not. This is a study from Columbia. Farmers will tell you this, who live up and down the plain states, that the drier air has moved east over 100 miles. It's causing problems with agriculture, and it's also pushing the tornado threat further towards the east into the deep southeast. And it's a problem because you can't see tornadoes as well in the southeast. There's a lot more trees. They happen at night. Structures are not built for tornadoes like they are in Moore, Oklahoma, let's say. So it's a bigger threat. And so read. I beg you to read the study if you're doubting it. These are some of the best tornado scientists in the United States, and you'll read it, you'll see it. They think it may be climate change that's causing it.
What was the name of the research again?
It came out today, and if you go to my Facebook page, it's facebook.com/Jeff Weather. You'll see a story that I did for CBSNews.com today. You'll see it posted on there, and I'll post it on Twitter as well. And you know what? I'll tag Storm. I'll tag the Stormfront Freaks podcast. I was about to say Storm Free. Anyway,
That's okay.
But it'll be easy to find because it had the word tornado in it. Every media outlet picked up this study today, and it's super interesting. Super interesting.
So hey, that's a good segue. How can listeners find you and follow you, Jeff?
Yeah, so at WeatherProf on Twitter, and at ZoomRadar on Twitter, and Facebook.com/ZoomRadar on Facebook, and Facebook.com/Jeff Weather on Facebook. So I have.
Is that like prof like prophet or prof like professor?
Prof like professor.
Very good. Hey, that is time for lightning
that.
round, guys. It is time for
Okay.
lightning round. So this is our game show of brilliant and flashy questions for our guest. We always invite everybody to play along. We get to have a little fun tonight. We're going to play our little version of Hollywood Squares. And so here's going to be the interesting part. There's a theme. And Jeff, I told you a lot of times lightning round really is a shift from weather. We don't talk about weather.
About 100 miles.
But that's a little bit different tonight. All of our questions for Hollywood Squares tonight are going to be based upon the movie The Day After Tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
If you guys remember that movie,
Yeah.
a little bit
Special
did not like
effects.
that movie.
Have you never seen that movie?
I've seen it, but I didn't like it.
Oh,
The wolves.
Well, here's the thing. Truth be told, if you're a storm person, it's an interesting and entertaining movie. If you're a climate person, yeah, you probably really don't care about it at all. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to go down the row here. We're going to pick all of our co-hosts. I'm going to give them a question, and it's up to them to answer the question. And then, Jeff, your job is to basically agree or disagree with their answers. That sound fair?
Let's
Okay.
do it.
All right, so Brady, I'm going to start with you. So in the movie, The Day After Tomorrow, okay, the Earth kind of plunged into this ice age, and so here's my question: so the Earth, true or false, the Earth could plunge back into an ice age in part because ocean circulation patterns. So they call these thermohalines. They could be shut down from any excess fresh water that's melted into the oceans, and that's what happened in the movie. Is it created this this potential for this ice age, right? So the question is that true or false that the Earth could go into an ice age because of fresh water being melted into the oceans?
First of all, I just want to let everyone know Phil labeled his questions brilliant, so that's true.
So you would say that's true. So Jeff, do you agree or disagree?
Yes, it's true, but it wouldn't happen as fast as it happened in that movie.
Okay, well, that's not the question, right? The question was,
You mean I
is
wouldn't
that true?
flash
So
freeze
you got that
standing
right.
I
outside?
want
I
those
wouldn't
land
flash
cans,
freeze?
man.
So
Bring
we're
on
one for one on that. All right, Dina. Next
Okay.
question is to you. So this circulation pattern that I just discussed, it could shut down if you take the circulation pattern shut down and you take massive snowfall, which is what also happened. It created this massive snowfall in the movie. If you take those two things, that could accelerate into massive global cooling in a matter of days with that kind of phenomenon initiated. Is that true or false?
False.
You would say false. Jeff, what do you think?
Oh, she's exactly right.
All right. Yeah, you kind of answered that in the last
Sorry.
one. So, yeah,
Sorry,
that's not
it happened in
happening
a matter
in
of
days.
seconds, right, Phil?
Yeah.
The answer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, seconds, not days. All right, Maz, your turn. So, following this shutdown, right, of the thermohaline circulation patterns,
Oh, I thought you meant the government. Don't do that to me, man.
Oh, good.
larger low pressure storms encompassing entire continents could develop. So if those circulation patterns start to shut down, you could actually see large low pressure storms that could encompass an entire continent. Is that true or false?
Oh, absolutely true.
True. They could grow. Jeff, what do you think? Do you agree or disagree?
You know what? That's above my pay grade. I don't know the answer to that question. I guess we'll see when it happens, right?
Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree.
You disagree, and that
Good
is
job.
correct.
Yeah.
From everything, again, because I'm an expert at this, but from what a lot of the stuff came from and I
movie.
didn't even write down the scientist, but is that storms couldn't grow to be that large. A single
Right.
cell,
Right.
a single.
It's not
storm
Jupiter.
cell
We're
can't
not
get
on
that
Single
big.
pressure would be like 500 millibars, and we'd all
All
be
right,
dead.
so we're going, Brady. We're going back to you. Low pressure storms could develop the ability to pull air from higher parts of our atmosphere.
It's true.
Now, in the movie, it pulled it from, I think they said like troposphere or something. And but could these larger low pressure storms bring down cooler air enough to freeze people on contact?
Definitely true. I even think they could bring air down from the stratosphere, so I think it's definitely true.
Okay, says true. Now, Jeff, agree or disagree?
Well, I think that is true, but freeze people on contact? I don't. Maybe a little bit of an exaggeration. I guess if
All
they're
right.
naked. No, wait. If they're naked.
Ah,
Okay.
Did he answer true and false?
I'm
on
going to
that?
say it's false. He kind of did. He kind of cheated on that. Here's my question.
No way.
Realistically, in a storm, isn't the lower pressure, like down in the eye of the storm, isn't that going to put air up? It won't
Yes,
air be
it is,
going up?
But what goes up has to come down somewhere. So the point is, it wouldn't be coming down in the middle of low
Maybe
pressure,
not in
but
the
it would
eye
be
of the
coming
storm.
Right.
Got it.
yeah, because
Okay,
the
that's
movie
fair.
they made it look like it was sinking down through the eye.
Right
and that
through
was
the
just
eye.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I try to block that movie out of my head. Sorry about that.
All right, so you're rolling here. Last question, Dean. I'm going to go to you.
Okay.
Global warming will raise the sea levels because obviously the day after tomorrow. I mean, you saw what happened in New York, all that stuff. But can global warming raise sea levels? True
Yes,
or false?
true.
You say true. So Jeff, agree or disagree?
Yes, absolutely.
That was an
is
easy
correct.
one.
Yeah,
Yes,
Phil, that
can-
was not brilliant. It was
Now
not.
here's the bonus question, man.
Okay.
All right.
Can it raise sea levels 25 feet in a matter of seconds? Like it did in New York.
Not in
Remember that big
seconds.
wave
In a
coming in?
Can
tsunami.
global warming
Yeah,
cause
in the tsunami,
earthquake?
but
That's
no.
the real question.
I disagree.
Not in a matter of seconds. So you say no, that's false. That can't happen. Jeff?
Yeah, no, that can't happen.
Very good. Excellent job. All right. Rock and roll. Well done, sir. Yeah, I think you got everyone right. We've had very few people that have gotten everyone right.
All right.
Right
Well,
job.
hey, look at that. All right. There
Although it
we
wasn't
go.
necessarily
Bill, tell
the
him your
hardest.
prize. Tell him his prize now.
Hey, what do I get?
Yeah,
Empty
you get,
bottle of Stella.
you get pride. So what you win here in Stormfront Freaks is you win pride if you win
Okay.
the
Bragging
lightning round
rights.
game. So
Bragging
All
rights.
We have lots of
I've been looking for pride. So thank you
Lots-
for giving
lots
me.
of
Look
that
for it in the
to give
mail.
out.
Yeah.
all right, so great job, Jeff. All right, here's what we're gonna
Thank you,
do.
guys.
We are going to take our final break. Stay right here as we're going to have some WX resources to share. And it does look like Weather Trollbot 5000 has just entered the studio. So we'll be right back with her as well. All right, good job, Jeff. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
done.
All
awesome.
right, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
So should I be leaving?
You can
You don't
either
have
stay.
to.
We have these two last little segments we do, WX resources, weather resources,
I
and
see.
Weather
We'll
Trollbot.
pay you. We'll pay you the same.
So you're welcome to stay. Number one, if you want to contribute a weather resource like a website or something or another, you already offered a article, which was nice. But if you got something else you want to add, you can, and stick around and heckle Weather Trollbot. You can do that too.
All
Sure
right,
call.
yeah, I'll hang around. What
Cool.
is it? About 12 more minutes?
Yeah, like 15 minutes at the most. Yeah.
All right.
That was like
So-
from Trading Places. No,
He
no, no.
said
I think I
least
can
an
hang
hour.
on with y'all for a little while.
All right. So, okay. So let's do this. So, Brady, Dina, and Maz, do you guys have your Weather Trollbot responses
Oh yeah.
pulled up and ready to go? So I'm just going to go down the list.
Are we doing them first?
What's that?
Are we doing resources first, or are we doing Troll?
No, we're doing Trollbot first.
Oh, okay.
I might have switched those up from the agenda. Sorry, but we are
okay.
doing Trollbot first. So Dina,
Okay.
your first one is who? That's Kelsey, right?
Well, I had Ginger Z.
Yeah. Who is the one on top?
Kim-
The first
Kim
one
was
you're
the
doing for
first
Kim,
one.
because you're doing Kim's too.
Wait, I'm doing what?
You're doing Kim's too. So you're doing two. Remember I emailed? Yeah, you probably don't remember that because
No.
you're on some.
I don't.
I can do it. I can do it.
Yeah, can you do it, Brady?
I can do
Okay.
it.
So
You take
Brady,
a
you're
wide
gonna
shot.
do-
She's got a big ID
Kelsey,
bag over.
Make it. Wait, hold on. Kelsey, make it. Who? McKeon.
McEwen.
McKeon. Okay. McKeon.
Like Mark McEwen.
All right. So Brady, I'll go to you. Then Maz, yours is whose?
Jen
Yours,
Carfagno.
Jen. All right.
Oh,
Dina
okay.
is Ginger, and then Brady, you'll finish with Janice.
Cool.
And so all you guys have to do is I mean, you can read it word for word if you want, but just introduce who the person is, and then read the troll comment, and then read the response, and then we'll enter it in. And we'll
What's
get the,
CTV? Is that the Canadian television? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So let me find my where are my notes? Here they are. So we're starting with I'm sorry, Brady. So it's Kelsey is the first one, right?
I'm having I'm having a brain fart here a second. Robin that works with Ginger Z. What's her last name again?
Yeah.
I know it. It's on
Uh-huh.
the tip of my tongue.
Not Williams.
No, I'm just having a brain
Yeah.
fart. Hang on.
Oh, what is that?
Why does that matter? I guess.
Well, because she was part of they were making fun of her.
Robin
clothes.
Roberts.
Yes.
There you go.
That is, yeah.
I'm sorry. Meds. Robin.
Blame it on the.
I know. I'm not even drunk.
Wow.
Falling. All right. So we'll do that. So we're gonna go Brady, then Maz, then Dina, then Brady again.
And you're
And then-
introducing the Trollbot, right?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
introduce it all, and I'll go to you guys, and
Okay.
and we'll do that, and then we'll jump right from that. When I'm done, Maz, I'll turn it over to you to introduce WX resources,
Okay.
and who I hope you guys brought resources because I spent a lot of time finding these trolls, so I needed help
I
from my
know.
co-host.
The troll
this
thing's
week.
hard to find sometimes.
Who's got resources?
I do, Dina.
I do not.
Thanks, Maz. Brady.
Anytime.
Maz took mine, so.
Ah,
So you got one, Phil, right?
Let me just say thanks for helping me out this week, guys. The
You
one
bet.
week that I really asked for help in advance, and you guys
Hey, we
gave
got
me
your
the
back.
fucking goose egg. So thank you for that. Dina, I can always rely on you, so I appreciate
I
that.
always have a weather
even at a car accident, she
I
shows
know.
up with her.
It's really weather resource.
So
WX.
so Maz and Brady, you got nothing on Dina. She's been in a car accident. And she's still coming through tonight.
Well, I stubbed my toe.
You're fired. You're fired. And then Jeff, do you want to add something? Do you want to bring something to the table?
No, I think I'll just kind of watch this.
Are you
Smart man,
serious?
Jeff. Smart man.
Wise man.
Mr.
So-
Climate
wait,
has an
something
opportunity
climate.
to throw something out there,
smart
and
man.
you're not throwing out
What's a great
a
place you can go
person?
for climate stuff?
like a person to follow or
Yeah. The climate reanalyzer site.
That's
let
brilliant.
me look it up and just make sure that I have the. It's a
Yeah.
great site.
That's
okay.
brilliant.
Why don't you do that? I think it'd be a waste of an opportunity to.
Hey, when you do the Trollbot, Phil, just do mine second because I want to see how it flows better with somebody who does it one more time.
Yeah,
I'm doing you
okay.
third.
Okay, good.
Hey, what
We're
week is this?
the page that you have. We're just going right down the list. This is episode 64.
64. Wow.
And so Maz, yep, cut when we're done with the resources. Go ahead and say that part. Cut it short. Say that part, and then I'll finish with listener questions and
Okay.
responses that Maz has or that MJ usually has, and then I'll close up.
Very good. So Trollbot first.
Trollbot first, so I'll cover the Trollbots,
Okay.
and I'm waiting for Jeff to make sure he's good with his
I have the site. Yeah.
WX resource. Okay.
You stud.
Can
Way
you
to
do me a
go.
favor, Jeff, and also at some point before you leave, email that site to me. So
Oh,
I've
you want
got
me to
it.
say? Okay, yeah, sure. So
Just
you want
so I
me to
can put it
mention
in the
you want
show
to mention it, and then I'll send it to you.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, well, so what Maz
He
will
can
do
share
is he'll say like, "Hey Jeff, you got something to share?" And then you can just say, "Yeah, there's this website, blah blah blah." You can explain it a little bit, and then explain what the link is.
Okay.
And then
I'll send it
Maz
to you
is
now.
going to finish by saying, "Hey, all these links we'll have on our show notes, episode 64 show notes."
Ooh, said it twice.
So if you just
I
email
always
it to
make
me,
that
I'll
mistake.
have it, and I can
I
throw it
just
on the
sent it.
show notes.
I just
Cool?
sent it.
All right.
Okay, good.
Brady,
We're
don't
good.
push
He's
those
on it.
buttons.
All right, you guys ready?
Do it.
All right, I'm gonna bring myself back in. All right. Oh, you know what we forgot to do,
What?
Jeff?
Oh,
we
yeah.
forgot to do your plug.
That's right.
So if you could do a quick soundbite for us and say Jeff Berardelli, you can say creator of ZoomRadar, you can say climate contributor, CBS Network, whatever you want to
King of
say,
climate.
who you are, because you got like 5 job titles.
Climate man.
But say, hey, this is Jeff Berardelli, blah, 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 and you're listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Okay. You want me to do it now?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, everybody. This is meteorologist Jeff Berardelli, climate contributor to CBS News and founder of ZoomRadar, and you are watching and listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Wow.
Boom.
You got watching and listening.
That was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay,
I
good.
don't know. I'll tell you this, Jeff, 64 times. I don't think we've had any guest
Nail
that,
it like
that
that.
rarely do they get Stormfront Freaks podcast.
It's different. It's not easy. I will tell
That's
you. I
the
almost
first hill.
screwed up on that.
But
Hey,
when you said watching, I thought, oh, we're gonna have to do it again because it's a podcast. Most people listen. But you said watching and listening. I'm like, damn, this guy is a
got it.
professional.
Jeff,
Well,
Jeff,
you know what? This is what happens when you take lots of drugs.
Jeff,
No, I'm kidding. I'm just.
Jeff,
There you go.
CBS wants you back, man.
Totally.
CBS wants you back. They're in London.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna count myself in here. Okay, in 3, 2. All right, hey everybody, welcome back. We have with us back tonight. We have our Weather Trollbot 5000. So we bought this robot on sale.
We paid too much.
We first we first introduced her a couple episodes ago, but we brought her back. We've had a lot of you comment on wanting to hear her again. So we've got Weather Trollbot 5000, and what we're going to do is we've got some examples of trolls in social media that have gone after some meteorologists in the television weather industry. And they've responded. And so what the Weather Trollbot 5000 is programmed to do is to actually tell us what that meteorologist was actually thinking when they responded to the troll. So we kind of get to find out a little bit of what they're thinking. I'll warn you in advance that the Weather Trollbot 5000 has been known to have a potty mouth. Right? We took the governor off, and she says, here's what they were really thinking. So now we bought her on sale. So truth be told, I can't guarantee you this is exactly what they were thinking. But it's probably pretty close. I mean, based on last time. So all right, we're going to go down the list. I think our co-hosts here have some examples. So I'm going to start with Brady. What's your example tonight of a troll? We'll see what you have to say.
So the first troll we have is basically on Twitter. It was under Kelsey McEwen, who is a Canadian meteorologist. That was the feed that it was under. She is a Canadian meteorologist on Your Morning Show. She's 34 weeks pregnant. And this Twitter troll, that post is now deleted. It went like this. Basically, she tagged at Your Morning, I can't believe the skin-tight maternity attire, ... disgusting. And Kelsey responded,
oh, man.
When what a 34-week pregnant woman is wearing is what someone finds disgusting in this world, it's time to check your priorities. And I would happen to agree with her on that.
Yeah.
Good for her.
You know, that was a nice response, though, right? It wasn't overly mean, which is good, right? That she's addressing.
I would have not had that restraint.
So here's what we have to find out: is the Weather Trollbot 5000 will help us really discover probably what Kelsey was thinking as she was responding. So let me go ahead and input that here into our Trollbot, and she's going to go ahead and compute that. And let's see what she happens to kick out.
Here's what Kelsey was thinking. What would your mommy say about that comment? She looked like that at one point carrying your sorry ass. Feel free to send a large plastic bag to cover myself. You can send that care of Kelsey McEwen at 1010. Go fuck yourself dry.
Whoa.
Whoa. Kelsey. You know, that's probably what we're all thinking. Except the troll. But wow, okay, that was interesting. Well, okay, so we have an idea of what Weather Trollbot 5000 is kicking out tonight. Maz, I'm going to turn over to you. You've got another one, correct?
Yeah, and this one's with Jen Carfagna. We love Jen from the Weather Channel.
We love Jen.
She's awesome. Former guest. She was on episode 46, I think it was. And she's from the Weather Channel's AMHQ show. She was recently broadcasting in the field for Hurricane Florence, as were so many people. And by the way, this happens to everybody. But Twitter troll, easy to say after beer, at All Cotton said, somebody please tell at TWC meteorologist at Jen Carfagno the correct way to pronounce Horry County. It's embarrassing. It's Horry, not Horry. Lordy. Now, Jen said, sorry, I was saying Ori at first, then someone corrected me to Hooray, and I corrected again this morning. So I mean, that happens a lot. Yeah, every city I've been to, every city.
Yeah.
You're always gonna offend that person. But let's go ahead. I'm gonna type it in.
I'm nervous already.
See what Weather Trollbot 5000 thinks of that. All right, so let's find out what she was thinking.
Here's what Jen was thinking. Tell you what, let's send you from your home state of South Carolina to Georgia and pronounce some of those counties you have never heard of. Colquitt County? Not sure. Gillis County? Maybe. Muskogee County? Doubt it. Tolliver County? Good luck. And who says Lordy anymore? Lordy. I can't believe I am taking the time to respond to this.
Lordy. I guess she was thinking Lordy a lot.
I'd say she should have said, "Shut your hoary face."
Oh wow! That's the meds talking.
Sounds like we need Dina. Dina needs to be on Trollbot.
We'll kick Dina instead of calling this segment, Weather Trollbot 5000. We'll call it
Dinabot.
Weather Troll Dinabot. All right, Dina. On that note, we'll turn to you. You got one too.
Yeah, and I saved this a while, like a week or so ago, because it involved our Ginger Z, one of our favorite guests, and somebody got on and was making fun of the way that Robin Roberts, and I believe it Ginger Z, was dressed. And he must have tagged Ginger in it, because he had said something about her like ugly dress and it didn't look nice, but he had gotten jumped on so bad by like 100 tweets.
All right, stop that just a second.
All right.
We'll edit this out. Are you going through the one you were telling me?
I'm about to. The one that says, "Oh my
Okay.
goodness, sorry you aren't a fan."
No, I sent you, which is fine. You're on
Oh,
drugs. I
shit.
get it. I sent you because it was deleted, right? And I emailed you and said, well, if you don't actually have the comment from the troll, that let's not use it. And then I sent an email with a list, and I gave you one to use.
Here, let me post the text in the chat so you can
Hang on.
So I sent you an
I've
email.
been in the hospital, Phil. I'm just gonna.
Which is I get it. I understand, but that's why I'm stopping you now before we do it anymore.
Broadcasting from the field.
But I sent you an email that said weather trollbot 5,000.
Hang on, because that's a lot in that chat.
I know.
Let me read. Let me post just the
No, Brady. See if you could find it on email because it's hard to read in that little.
But you let's see, agenda.
No,
Weather-
it's after
trollbot.
agenda. I just sent it Wednesday. I sent it yesterday. Brady, stop putting stuff in.
Hey,
We can't see
I was
anything,
gonna put a
okay?
space. This is such a crappy chat.
No, that one says, "Oh my goodness." I see that. Shoot.
Here, let
Um,
me forward it. I'm gonna forward it to you.
All right. Sorry, you guys. Dropping the ball.
That's all right.
I'm glad we can edit this.
Oh yeah, we'll edit it out. That's okay.
Oh gosh.
That's why I was like, why even bring? What does Robin Roberts have to do with the one that I sent you? I wasn't sure about that, and that's why I asked, what does Robin Roberts have to do with it?
You sent it to my weather.com email, right?
Whatever
yeah.
email that.
Oh
Yeah. Dang, now we're just wasting time.
Robin seems really nice too.
You know, we're
Oh, there
done.
it is. And I'm using my left hand too, so I'm just making more excuses because I can't do shit with my left hand.
come on, chip her up.
I
We got
know.
about 5-10 minutes left.
I know. Where the hell is it?
I don't know, remember Jeff's watching.
So if you go to the email at the top, it should be the very top email from Phil, and then there should be a Word attachment to it.
There's an attachment.
Oh, okay, hang on.
It's a Word attachment.
Do a share your screen.
No, don't share.
Hang on. Oh, wait, I see something.
We don't need to make it more complicated.
All right,
for us.
Dina. Ginger Z, a former guest and chief meteorologist,
go.
ABC
You
News.
got it.
Good morning, America. She was recently broadcasting from the field of Hurricane Florence. Twitter troll. What is it with TV Mets that they have to be right in the middle of a natural disaster to report? Anyone else doing that gets roasted out of existence, or bad choices and getting blamed for stress already overworked first responders. All right, so I just read that, or do I
Yep.
read Ginger's thing?
No, you read it all. Read Ginger's response as well. Okay.
All right,
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right, Dina, I think you've got one too, correct?
Yeah, Ginger Z is a former guest from episode 44. She's the chief meteorologist for ABC News and Good Morning America. She was recently broadcasting from the field for Hurricane Florence. Now, the Twitter troll at ELINTAWARE, what is it with TV Mets that they have to be right in the middle of a natural disaster to report? Anyone else doing that gets roasted out of existence or bad choices and getting blamed for stressing already overworked first responders.
I've
Jeez.
heard that before.
Yeah.
I've seen people. Yeah. Say
So
that.
Ginger Z, which is always trying to say nice things. Lots of attacks this morning. I know I'm a mother. I love my family. I also love my job. I always put safety first. I'm in a safe spot. No one could have anticipated boards popping up on the deck. Let's focus on the people who are in danger and in need of our information and prayers.
Okay.
Well said.
Yeah,
That-
she always
that wasn't
says
too
nice
bad.
things.
That wasn't too bad. So like I said, that's probably, and Jeff, you've probably seen that as well, as people saying, what are they doing out reporting in the storm when everybody's supposed to be evacuating? Maybe you guys got that. Did you get that down in South Florida?
Yeah. I mean, so I think there's some truth to it, though. There are times when reporters put themselves in precarious positions, and where So, people may have a point that, reporters are saying, don't do what I do. It's kind of like, so there's some of that. So I go back and forth on what should and shouldn't be done. But I do believe that, at least my role as a chief meteorologist down in Florida was to be in the studio, obviously, during these storms, because we were just monitoring the latest data that was coming in.
Well, let's see what Weather Trollbot 5000 here. Let me enter this in. See what she might be thinking. Dina was
typing off her fast.
I can type, baby. Don't get it wrong. I can type real fast, and I have to because Weather Trollbot 5000. This thing is old. I gotta put it in fast. But let's see what spit out here.
Here's what Ginger was thinking. First of all, you were watching it, so we must be doing something right. Also,
True.
This isn't my first rodeo. You've got no clue to the prep work that goes into a field report like this. I'm a professional, so lay off the mother, wife, and family crap. I love what I do and am smart enough to be safe at it. We're out here saving lives with our coverage. What do you got?
What do you got?
Some spunk.
Ooh.
And shut your hoary face.
That's Ori.
Hey,
That's Ori to you.
Lordy.
That's right. All right. Well, I think we got one more, Brady.
Yeah, next is Janice Dean, who we absolutely loved. She was incredible. She was on episode 54. She's the senior meteorologist at Fox News and Fox and Friends as well, the morning show. And she's had her fair of Twitter trolls. She gets picked on, I think, a little more than others.
Doesn't she?
Which is brutal. And the latest Twitter troll is at Dixie Stank, which...
Well, that tells you right there.
I don't even want to address that name. But it starts with Janice is the only woman on Fox News who covers her arms. Does she have massive tats or something?
Shut up.
Janice responded, "How'd you guess?" And I love that response. I love it so much.
She's got a bunch
Oh my
of
God.
Punisher skulls on her arm, doesn't she?
She was a troll bot herself. I mean, I don't even know if we need a bot for this one, but I'd love to hear it, Phil. Why don't you let us hear it?
Well, let's go ahead and type it in. This one's going to be a quick one because it was a quick response. But let's see what Janice was actually thinking when she typed that response. And Weather Trollbot says, all right, I'm going to have to edit that out.
She's slow.
All right, here's what she said.
Here's what Janice was thinking. What the fuck?
Short and sweet.
Oh my God.
Short and sweet.
That was a really short one, yeah.
It was.
all that was
Very
needed.
accurate, though.
All right, Weather Trollbot 5000. Thanks for joining us again here tonight. We're gonna get to our WX resources. Maz, what is that?
All right, WX resources. We're always trying to find new places where you can get information, a new site, something that has to do with weather. And actually, before we go to our first person, I'd actually like to hear more of our listeners coming up with some of these and sending us some of their places that they've seen. Wouldn't you all love to hear
that's
that?
a good idea.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. But I think Dina, you've got one, don't you?
Yeah, and this
Okay.
one is, I'm not going to share my screen because I'm one-handed and it's my left. So I'm just going to tell you, this is a webpage that Tim Ballasty, he's Irish Eagle on Twitter, made up. And it's pretty much like a huge dashboard of products. And it's wxproducts.blogspot.com. And it's got some more characters at the end, but we'll post it on our episode 64 show notes. But mainly when you go through here, he's got a bunch of, like, he used to work at the Weather Channel with me. So he's got a lot of Weather Channel graphics, but they're maybe snowfall forecasts. They've got National Weather Service alerts, the NOAA 6 to 10 day. It's got hurricane pages. And this is like a great page, just as like a home page. If you're big into weather, like a dashboard, it's got the current surface fronts. It's got some, since he was here living in Georgia for a while, he's got Georgia stuff, and now he's in Asheville. So he's doing Asheville, North Carolina stuff. He's got the SPC outlooks. He's got temperatures. He's got a little bit of everything on here. So it's kind of like all those weather pages you want to bookmark on one page. So again, it's weatherproducts.blogspot.com, but we'll post the whole thing on the 64 show notes.
Very cool.
You know, it's almost getting tougher and tougher to find new ones that we haven't used before.
Yeah.
But I love that you found another one, so that's great.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
Jeff.
use it every
Maz,
day.
how do you have any difficulty finding ones that you haven't used before?
I'm telling you,
it's an
man, I am
oxymoron, I think.
saving up for that final show.
I have like 20 of them. We're like, all right.
It'll be a whole hour of them. No. Hey, Jeff, do you have any?
Yeah, so I love this site. I'm sure a lot of you have probably been there, but it's called climatereanalyzer.org.
Ooh.
It's great. I mean, it's really good graphics. It's from the University of Maine, I believe.
Really?
Yeah,
It's
and
got
you
to be
can.
better than Weather Trollbot 5000. That's all I have to say.
I like
better.
Weather. I got to tell you, I like Weather Trollbot 5000. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, just check it out. You can basically it's a reanalyzer, so you can look at maps from the past. You can look at the whole globe, and using the GFS into the future. And trust me, it's a cool site. Check it out. You'll probably get a lot of use out of it.
Okay, that's good. I don't think I've seen that one, so I'm excited that there's a new one.
Okay, good. It's a good one.
Reorganizer.org. Climate
reanalyzer.
Reanalyzer. I'm sorry.
Reanalyzer,
Reorganizer. Yeah. All right, to reorganize that. Yes, absolutely. Hey, thanks. As soon as I find it on here, I'm looking forward to seeing that. All right, so Phil, that kind of does it for our WX resources. And of course, everybody, if you want to find those specific links, you can check us out on stormfrontfreaks.com. It's episode 64 in the show notes section. We'll make sure we have those links there for you so that you can easily find them, because I said reorganizer. I don't know what I was doing.
Yep. All right. Well, hey, we do have some listener questions and responses. We had on Twitter, Goodwin Cloud Chaser 89. We were talking about Helicity Designs and our exclusive line of Stormfront Freaks products on helicitydesigns.com. But we were talking about different designs, different products, and she came back and said, hey, just do it. Design is the way to go. Promise your stuff will sell. She was looking for a hoodie that had patches, tornado patches on the elbows.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I thought so very cool. But she said, hey, gotta love your podcast. It's very entertaining. And then Twitter, Matt Scheiss at WayFastWXNerd. He said, hey, Stormfront Freak, just finished episode 57's Weather Fools segment with the Fort Jackson lightning story, Brady, which I think was yours.
Yep.
He said the U.S. military is the next frontier as far as people needing weather safety training. He says, I'm a 13-year Army vet, and few take weather hazards seriously. Quote, if it ain't raining, we ain't training.
Oh, my God.
So, Matt, appreciate you listening and appreciate your service as well.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and then on Facebook, Illinois Extreme Storm Chasers actually just chimed in today, said, are you looking for a weather podcast to listen to? Check out Stormfront Freaks podcast. You will thank me later.
Wait, there's another one with the same name as ours?
Yeah.
I was like,
Copyright.
what? Really?
Wait, Phil, is there any
What?
Better be.
Got
I
it.
don't know.
Thank you,
Put
Jeff.
him into the Stone Age.
All right. Well, Jeff has been hanging with us long enough. I think that just about does it for this episode of Stormfront Freaks podcast. Definitely thanks for listening or watching. Before I reveal our next guest, if you do enjoy the show, please do us a favor. Leave us a great review on your podcast app. And don't forget to subscribe to the show. All you got to do is hit the podcast app subscribe button. All it does is guarantees, like a magazine or newspaper, that the latest episode gets delivered right to your podcast inbox the minute it's released, and you don't have to wait. So I do want to say special thanks to our guest, Jeff Berardelli, tonight. Jeff, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. I had a great time.
Conversation. Yeah, thanks for taking the time. And our next episode in 2 weeks, we'll be recording on November 1st with Chief Meteorologist at Fox News, Rick Reichmuth will be with us. So if you'd like to watch the recording live at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, just go ahead and check out your YouTube channel by searching Stormfront Freaks.
Cool.
All right, so Maz, Brady, Dina, Jeff, for all of them, I'm going to go ahead and signal the all clear. We'll catch everybody next time. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening.
Dina,
All right, guys.
Cool.
Thank you
Jeff,
so much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jeff.
Jeff.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
man.
you, Jeff.
Appreciate it. I will. I'll follow up with you. So the audio podcast will get posted usually Sunday.
Okay.
So I'll follow up with you early next week, so you've got the links to all that stuff
Yep,
as well.
great.
But hey, I appreciate it. You were awesome.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for the invite. I had
Very
fun,
good.
guys. Thank you so
Good.
much.
Thanks.
And I do want to thank you as well for giving us access to the
Yeah.
ZoomRadar and the Chaser.
Yeah, that is really a great thing.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's a neat
My
addition,
pleasure.
and we certainly
Good. I'm
love
glad you like it.
giving you some publicity on that too. So thanks so much.
Of course. Thank you. All right,
Cool.
guys. Have a great night.
All right. Good
You
night,
too.
Jeff. Thanks for the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Dina, you go get some sleep.
Yeah.
We were losing you there.
Yeah.
I could tell.
You did great though, Dina. You did fantastic.
You were awesome. Yeah.
I was like, I can sit, and my husband's
killed
like,
it.
why don't you just go to bed? I'm like, I'll get up. I could just sit and talk. It's just how clearly, I don't know.
You did.
Oh.
You killed it.
Well, when you start saying, I could just go to bed and just.
I got to get
Cool.
my kids to open my childproof caps because I can't do it. I can't even open a damn cap. Oh my
The
god.
problems.
Hammer it.
I
Dina,
know.
Put a hammer. Just
The
hammer it.
problems.
Well, now I got to start looking around. I don't know what they're going to give me for the insurance on my vehicle, but that was a big vehicle. It was
Yeah,
almost
oh,
paid off.
It's got to be totaled, but that's the worst part of getting in freaking accidents is they'll total your car, but the check they give you will not buy you the vehicle that you had, right?
Yeah.
It's
And I
you know,
loved
it's
that
like,
car. And I know it's,
a pain.
but I never saw the front of it until today. And it was like, and when we went to the tow place to go get the stuff out, I was looking for my registration. So they let my husband go first and he didn't see it. And he came back as the most shaken up I think I've ever seen him. Like, he's not emotional guy,
Yeah. Wow.
and he's like, what the, he's like,
Right.
that's totaled 100 times over. He's like, you cracked the engine was pretty much cracked.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it kind of worried me when I saw him like that. And then I saw it and I was like, holy shit, I'm glad I didn't see that at the moment. Cause I was already emotional,
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Your rental just arrived. It's a Ford Pinto.
Oh shit. Well, that's at least one thing about a big Explorer. It was big vehicle and, pretty sturdy.
And I'm going to do this. I want to thank everybody that's been watching us live or watching us in Raw. We appreciate it. We love you guys. Sorry if I wasn't responding as often as MJ usually does. I was freaked out for a second because I went to the YouTube page that I set it up on. And it was showing like not broadcasting. And this was like 15, 20 minutes into it.
Oh,
Jeff is
shoot.
talking and I'm like, oh God, did we not record it? So I pulled it up on my phone and I was like, okay, it's broadcasting. And I had something else on, I guess.
Okay.
But anyway, thanks everybody for watching.